According to the internet, Rainbow Train is a small independent, which means self-published, development company that consists of
Maciej Targoni,
with
Wojciech Wasiak,
usually helping with the sound design and music. The first game came out in 2014 for touch phones, and the first copy came out crumpled into a ball. It has very positive reviews on Steam, but screw that noise. Super Mario Bros. Probably have positive reviews too, but ask any Fortnite gamer to finish it and ask their opinion on the game afterwards. Only about 850 players on Steam found it to be good, and I'm not one of them. Even the name is stupid and hard to search for. It's a written game, or a platformer, or an afterrunner, or something that is entirely based on one button, which switches you from inside to outside and the other way around to avoid spikes. Some parts of the levels look more complex than just one string, but most of the alternative roads are fake and impossible. It's an extreme test of reaction times and cognitive abilities that is accessible only to the young pre-adult humans at peak of their form. Being a falling apart grown silverback adult and a corona zombie regard, this crap is so hard it's almost luck. Not only it is hard to calculate the routes, but also to leave the route during the execution. There's plenty of checkpoints, but it's a garbage Dark Souls design torture platformer, and the biggest sin they can commit is to have non-instant restarts. The spikes are not synced, so there are plenty of places where you have to idle after every death to reach the only possible time window. The camera that fails to keep up with the hitbox is not helping either, and the hitboxes are all out of whack. The line switching hitbox is lagging behind, meanwhile spike hitboxes are rushing ahead of timing. And then the spikes can desync, drift, and occupy both lanes at the same time. Thankfully, the checkpoints remember where you were even if you reload the level. The levels are not on a rhythm, and the later levels intentionally throw off the rhythm, so you can't gain muscle memory either. There is no way to get used to the bad hitboxes. There are 4 levels, then there are these 4 levels, but with a wobble effect making this crap only harder. And then there's the infinite mode, that is pure luck, on top of requiring being a youth at a peak form. The most I could ever get was 7, with a big lucky sequence, but there's an achievement to reach 100 loops. No thanks, I couldn't reach even 15. The next game, Hook, from 2015. Such a great naming that you can't find it. It's a small casual puzzler about untangling things by managing selectors and pulling strings. It's a pleasant 40 minutes of playtime. The game is unplayable in ultra-wide screen, but can be easily switched to the resizable window mode. The first game I played from the developer was Klocki, and it's kinda one of the best games of that year. It is an extremely good sliding puzzler with a lot of great mechanics, mostly amazing graphics. The type of things from the last level should be smoother when combined. It has that great rewarding Inception boom sound and a great level design based tutorialization, without obnoxious explicit arrows, animations and texts. The main problem is the small levels, which are very easy, and there are not many of them. You can blitz the game in less than half of an hour. Well, it costs slightly more than one loaf of bread in our local pricing, and 30% of that money goes to Valve's pocket. By itself, these several minutes of gameplay were worth the price. But if we consider the current meta, where you can buy for the same amount of money an old full AAA release or two, like for example 2 great Commandos games, then this seems extremely expensive. Also, it doesn't have an ending, just like in old arcades. If you won, it instantly starts over without warning.
klocki
Is kinda a generic Polish word, but at least it made the game searchable. But the next release is called Push. Steam Store alone has several games called Push. Then there are all the movies on top of that. This one is co-developed with Hamster on Coke, another small developer who makes small puzzle games in a kinda similar style. It's a silly little puzzle where you push buttons for about 60 minutes. It takes a bit too long to start with its already short runtime, and when it does start, it jumps into the deep end. It's extremely easy as a puzzle. In most of the levels you just see the solution instantly. The harder part is the execution, because you solve it so fast that you start missing clicks going that fast. The last puzzle sucks, actually. It's nothing like anything before. You waste time trying previous solutions, while in fact it's a what I have got in my pockets tier riddle. This is just a shape-sorting toy, and you are a child who enjoys impossible physical world interactions. It looks pretty, but the music sucks. It's ominous erotic sounds of butthurt ambient. Next, we finally have a decent name. Up Left Out is an about 1 hour long, give or take, anthology of sliding puzzles with diverse mechanics. When you finish a level, the screen starts epileptic flashing and plays a jump scare sound. The author seems to like to add some ominous tone to their casual games. Naboki is a searchable name even if it's made of generic Polish words. It's one of those parking lot untangling games, but in 3D, with many more additional mechanics. This company usually uses the heart's motifs for the last puzzle in the game, so when you see them appearing a couple of times right in the middle, it breaks the game's flow and changes its length perception. They rushed with the game's name, missing the chance to call the third one Hook 3D. Hook 2 is a simple order of operations puzzle game, but it's now in 3D, so you need to rotate things. The gameplay combines tracing, labyrinths, and perspective play. It's a bit annoying when the camera forcibly changes the perspective. The erotic sounds of butthurt rain sounds are a bit annoying. I hate rain, it's wet and cold and it gets everywhere. Zerko is not a very common word in search engines. It's a puzzle game where you fill the field with shapes, but the field is separated into scales with target weights, and every shape assigned a weight. It's about an hour long, with just 50 puzzles. I think I would want it to go a bit longer, for 75 or even 100 puzzles. It's fairly easy, especially since all the levels are designed with a solution algorithm in mind, instead of just slapping it together. Only the last puzzle was challenging. The second game for 2024 is No.9, not of a mighty kind. It's a recreate the picture with shapes type game with a subpart GUI. There's no holding space. You cannot swap two pins, only move them one by one, with only one free space. And then, each time you finish the puzzle, the game just sits there and waits for you to hold the button for an uncomfortably long time to start the next level. The graphics use some stupid creepypasta of film grain and mostly grey and dull shades of grey, not even all 50 of them. It's less of a puzzle game and more of a kid's shape sorter. The first half is entirely dull. Only when the second part gives you gifs as shapes to reassemble the looped videos, it starts to get going. Not mighty enough. Finally, for 2025 we got Overwords. This is mostly a word puzzle. It's something like Scrabble, but you have a selection of words to place in the field. Each added letter reloads a gauge. Full gauge increase opens one closed tile on the playfield. When all closed tiles are filled, you win. Each placed letter has 2 HP. When a letter is removed from the field, you get a new word to use. When you get more words than you can hold in your hand, a random letter on the field gets a hit. That's it. After the bad tutorial, the game becomes super easy for the most part, but since the given words are random, you can lose a level of not your fault. Still, there's only 30 levels and the vocabulary is very small. You use repetitive tactics with repetitive tiny words. The end product is the weakest of the developers' puzzles. It's very open-ended and has a weak rule set. Then it ends too fast. It is inoffensive.